I tried to keep my pregnancy a secret, but my colleagues and friends started betting on who the father was and even spread harmful rumors. I'm 7 months pregnant with a child I plan to give to a wonderful couple through a closed adoption. I made this choice because the child was the product of non-consensual sex. I didn't press charges because I was a bit of a party girl at the time and didn't think anyone would believe me. I honestly have no idea who the guy was. I just remember trying to push him off and being too drunk to do so. My choice not to press charges, my choice to keep the pregnancy, and my choice to place the child for adoption are all personal decisions that I am comfortable with. These choices are private, and I plan to keep most of this to myself. Unfortunately, my friends and coworkers have turned it into a game. I was hiding the pregnancy until I started really showing a couple of weeks ago. I understand that people are curious. It's rather surprising, but then I saw a betting pool being passed around the office. They were placing bets on who the father was. I was shocked and a little hurt. My friends are also curious. I have one close friend who knows everything. She's going to be in the room for the birth to support me, and she's not telling anyone. Still, rumors are starting to spread. One terrible rumor claims the baby belongs to Karen's husband, Troy. Karen, now a former friend, called me in tears. I went over to her house to tell her face-to-face that it wasn't true. She demanded to know the truth. I told her it was none of her business, and she blasted me on Facebook. Some friends have been nice to my face, but everything eventually gets back to me. Some people are saying that I'm a paid surrogate. I guess that rumor is better, but I hate that people are talking about me like this. I made one blanket statement on Facebook yesterday. Asterisk, I guess I can't hide it anymore. Yes, I am pregnant. I am giving a lovely couple the child they have tried to have for years. This is very personal and private, and I ask that you all respect that. Asterisk. The post got a bunch of comments, but I haven't read them. I'm going to take a big break from social media. I don't know what else to do or say. I'm uncomfortable with everyone's constant questions. I love my job and usually get along well with my coworkers. I hope I can suck it up and go back to normal in a few months. Weirdly, I found great inner peace with everything because I'm so happy to give this wonderful couple, who are the kindest men I've ever met, something they could never have on their own. One is a kindergarten teacher and the other is a social worker. Here's what I need from the readers of this sub. What can I say that isn't a lie but will shut people up without giving out information I'm not comfortable sharing? I don't like calling her the baby. She's female, but I have to keep my distance emotionally. The two people who know the whole truth, my friend and my doctor, immediately asked me why I didn't report the assault. I feel ashamed and humiliated. I really don't want to say much of anything. I had a good cry, took an antacid or 4, and went to the owner, Jim. I told him the truth and explained that I really didn't want the guys to know but needed the jokes and talk to stop because it was hurting me. He hugged me and told me he was proud of me, which made me cry again, hormones. Then, he gathered the staff for a quick come-to-Jesus meeting. He announced that he would fire anyone who made me uncomfortable about my pregnancy on the spot, and that all the money from the betting pool needed to end up on my desk immediately.
He was fantastic.
He didn't share any of my personal information. He just protected me and made it quick and easy. Afterward, he told me I could take an additional week of paid medical leave. I already have 2 weeks of unused vacation, so that was a huge relief. I'm going to talk to my friend and subtly let people know the truth, especially Karen. This baby bump is sales gold, though I landed a big commission while sitting. Despite how great Jim has been, I think I need to get out of this town. People here will always see me as that trailer park girl. My mom died when I was very young, and I acted out a lot afterward. Everyone knows what I did back then and won't let me forget, despite my hard work to graduate, buy a house, and fix it up myself. I'm thinking about moving to Oregon or Washington. It's so beautiful up there. I had a few private messages asking for updates and how everything went. It's been a wild ride. I am posting this from a freezing but spectacular beachside hotel on the coast of Oregon. I had a job interview this morning that I feel really great about, and 2 more lined up. My house sold fast, and I have some money to live on and start fresh. And do I ever need a fresh start? A few days after I made that post, rumors started up again. Someone claimed the baby was my boss's, then a coworker's, and then Karen's husband's again. To save face, I asked my friend to tell the right people the truth, but that backfired. Someone started posting about me on Craigslist, saying I was crying rape because I was too drunk to know who the father was. They called me awful names. I flagged what I could, but new posts kept popping up. I tried to ignore it, but then a good friend wrote me this long text blaming me for making it all worse with my rape story. I was devastated. It feels like my prior life and reputation are all people will ever think of me. I kept my head down and tried to forget it all, but it was affecting my work. I decided to sell my house and made a plan to leave. At 38 weeks pregnant, I resigned from my job. My wonderful boss told me I could come back, but I knew I didn't want to. I was selling most of my belongings and packing up the few things that mattered to me when there was a late-night knock at my door. It was a man I vaguely knew from the bar scene. He was drunk and angry. He told me the baby might be his and accused me of lying about being assaulted. I remember talking to him that night, but I don't remember him being the one. I don't remember much of anything except trying to push someone off me and wishing I were stronger. I told him to leave, but he started harassing me at my house every day, calling at all hours, threatening me, and demanding a paternity test. I was terrified he would mess up the adoption, and I was growing more scared for my safety. I couldn't sleep or eat. My friend came over, and we called the police. The officer who responded was amazing. I don't know what they said to him, but it worked. He left me alone after that. The stress of everything caught up with me, and I went into labor the next week. The baby had turned and was breech, so I had to have a C-section. One of her adoptive fathers held my hand during the surgery. My friend was there too, but only one person was allowed in the room. The baby was perfectly healthy and beautiful. She had thick, dark hair and the chubbiest cheeks. Her fathers were instantly and madly in love with her. They took her home the next day, while I had to stay in the hospital for a few more days to recover from the surgery. Those 3 days were the hardest of my life. The hospital sent a therapist to talk to me, and she was incredibly helpful. When I was released, I spent a few days in a luxury hotel with my dear friend. I never went back home. I paid someone to pack up my belongings for me. I spent the next 2 months at my grandmother's house in Texas, recovering and waiting for the proceeds from the sale of my house. I was terrified I would get a call saying the man from the bar had somehow disrupted the adoption, but that call never came. As time passed, I stopped worrying about who the father was. I just wanted the baby to have a good life. Once I felt well enough, I packed my car and headed west. I visited the Grand Canyon, the Great White Sands, and Santa Monica. I traveled cheap, mostly sleeping in my car or staying in budget motels. I spent time in every place I found beautiful. Eventually, I landed in Oregon, at the prettiest place I've ever seen. I got a great rate at a motel and decided to stay. I even got an Oregon driver's license. I thought about changing my name, but decided against it. I don't want to change who I am, just the baggage I carry. This ended up being a novel, but thank you for sticking with me. I went through so much, but I had the baby, and she's with her loving family now. I've left everything behind, and I'm working on being happy. For the first time in a long time, I feel free.